Despite their best efforts, evidence of their mutual karate fixation keeps bubbling up to the surface.
Oh, no.
Hints that Mr.
Hang on. What? First of all, what? What? This is... I mean, wow. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Spongebob Squarepants. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm TheYARKing, and if you clicked on this, you either, want to see some dark theories about SpongeBob, or want to see my reaction to dark theories about SpongeBob. So, we'll get straight into it. I haven't sat down and watched SpongeBob in a long time. I haven't watched much of the new stuff. If they're still making I think they're still making SpongeBob these days. But I've seen sometimes on TV, I'll watch a few minutes and just go about my business, but I don't sit down and watch SpongeBob, stuff like that. I always enjoy watching these dark theory videos, some new perspective on a cartoon that makes you think oh no, this ruins my childhood a bit or something like that. But I don't think I've ever seen any or known any theories about SpongeBob, so this is, at least I don't think so. So this is probably all new stuff for me. So we'll see if any of these holds weight, if any of these comes to me or hits me hard. So we'll see.
Bob Squarepants is one of the most successful children's cartoons of all time. Thanks to its fun and recognizable cast, the series has generated $13 billion for Nickelodeon in merchandising revenue alone. But you know what they say, one man's innocent children's cartoon is another internet user's fan theory fodder. And the internet doesn't really do innocent. So here are the dark SpongeBob Squarepants theories that change everything. Karate is a metaphor for sex. Well, there's no point beating around the bush, so to speak. Why would Reddit user Master Lulz decide that karate on a kids show was an elaborate analogy for sex? Let's look at the facts. This theory focuses on Season 1, Episode 14B, titled Karate Choppers. At the start of the episode, Sandy surprises SpongeBob with some karate when he gets home.
Just a second. Safety first.
Later that night, SpongeBob calls up Sandy for some late-night karate, but she blows him off. The two continue a series of varied and spicy karate encounters, and before long, it's all that they can think about. SpongeBob's mind is so occupied with karate that he can't even concentrate at work. To save his career, they agree to abstain from karate and desperately try to distract themselves with other things.
I mean, what's so fun about this?
Despite their best efforts, evidence of their mutual karate fixation keeps bubbling up to the surface.
For a second, that sounded like karate. Right now.
And before long, their innocent picnic turns into a wild karate frenzy. Now, what could that possibly have to do with sex?
Do you think Mr. Krabs ever does karate?
Seriously though, it's not that far-fetched. The writers have gone on record saying that some stories for the cartoon are based on their real-life experiences. It's not beyond the realms of possibility that they extracted the comedic element of a passionate affair and twisted it into the plot for an episode. And compared to some of the other theories that we have, let's just say that the weirdo meter is not even switched on yet.
I'm gonna catch you tomorrow, SpongeBob!
The 7 main characters represent the 7 deadly sins. The best thing about this theory is it's totally
I think I've heard this one.
That's right. One of the show's writers mentions it in the Season 1 DVD audio commentary. However, they don't cover all the specifics. So let's go through a quick rundown of the theories on who's what. Greed. Without a doubt, Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs is
this one
greed.
pretty much explains itself. Is there anything Mr. Krabs wouldn't do for a quick buck? More on that later.
Donate to the children's fund. Why? What have children ever done for me?
Sloth. Patrick.
Yes.
Sloth is a pretty broad church of sin, covering everything
Greed.
from laziness to a lack of
Sloth,
compassion
gluttony.
for others. And in the case of Patrick, it seems like more the
I
former
was thinking
than
Patrick
the
was supposed to be
latter.
gluttony.
Maybe
but no.
Patrick gets a hard rap here. He's not a bad guy. Then
What?
again, he's hardly an overachiever.
Hang on. I'm going to figure this out before they come to it. Who would be gluttony? I think SpongeBob himself? Me? Okay, after gluttony, jealousy, you said? Envy. Thinking of envy. That would definitely be, little dude. Plankton. Envy. I can't think of the 70 other seasons right now. Why? It's weird, guys. I'm blanking on the 7 deadly sins. There we go. I know lust was definitely on there. Probably can look at that one last because that's probably the hardest. Pride? I don't think Sandy be pride. So greed, good Mr. Krabs, Sloth, Patrick. Saying gluttony, SpongeBob. Envy, Plankton. Pride, Sandy. And there's wrath and lust. Wrath, it's angry a lot. Plankton also gets angry a lot, but oh wait, what's his name? Octopus dude. Squidward. He's mad a lot, and there's lust. Who would? Which one of the SpongeBob characters would be lust? You know what? Okay. Other than lust, I think I got a good handle of them all. So let's see.
Envy. Plankton.
I
Yeah.
knew it.
Need we say more? Wrath? Definitely Squidward. He's a really angry guy, after all.
Yeah, that was good.
Pride? Sandy.
Yes.
As a scientist and generally one of the more accomplished residents of Bikini Bottom, Sandy
It's just
does
gluttony and lust. So I kind of want to think of someone else as part of the SpongeBob thing, gluttony, but I feel like there's another character I'm forgetting. Okay, no, my answers are locked in.
have a lot to offer. She's well-traveled, smart, and generally kind, but her achievements can go to her head at times.
See this? This is science.
Gluttony. So there's a bit of debate on this one. Some
Okay.
people think that Patrick is the glutton while Gary is the sloth. But Gary's main motivation in life does seem to be food.
Oh,
When SpongeBob gets amnesia
Gary.
and skips town, what does Gary do but gorge himself to obesity? Not that any of our pets would do anything different. Lust. Whatever you make of the karate, lots of people are throwing SpongeBob into the ring for this one. They
Really?
cite a definition of lust as excessive love for everything.
Okay, well, I
It
guess
certainly
so.
gets him into trouble, but deadly sin? We're not so sure. One possibility for lust is Pearl. Teenage boys of Bikini Bottom, beware. While it's cool to have a theory like
Yeah,
this
oh yeah,
confirmed,
Pearl.
it's not
Definitely.
exactly a dramatic revelation. Comedic
It's just not
archetypes
in a
like
lot of
these have
episodes.
been around since, well, since comedy began. Basically, it's good to be good, but it's funny to be bad.
All knees will bow to Plankton. Hail, Plankton!
The main characters are Marxist symbols. Okay, first off, we're not trying to be political. There's enough of that in the current year. But what we're saying is...
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the fish into communists.
Anyway, things get a little weird here. For those with a political inclination, we recommend reading the post from Reddit user Bend Over and Spread It. Basically, the theory suggests that
What a name.
you've got Mr. Krabs as the archetype exploitative business owner profiting
Yeah.
from the misery and hard labor of others. Sounds pretty accurate so far.
Food's on the way! Hey, you got money, right?
Squidward is the class-conscious worker disgruntled by his shoddy lot in life. He organizes against Mr. Krabs with a strike, but ultimately SpongeBob, the ignorant, unconscious proletariat worker, plays into the hand of the oppressor. The theory even extends to the impact of science in Bikini Bottom. Plankton and Sandy, the two great scientific minds in the show, have drastically different philosophies when it comes to their work. While Plankton is looking for corporate domination, Sandy has developed her own personal utopia and uses technology to help others. Could Sandy really be representing the possibility of fully automated luxury communism where humans are free to lead a life of leisure while machines take care of the work? What do you think, Patrick? Well, let's be real, it's a kid's show, we're probably overthinking it. The show's characters and names are all related to private parts. Maybe the internet was a mistake after all. Let's take a look at the evidence here. The show definitely enjoys some double entendre. Hell, it's set in a town called Bikini Bottom. Yep. There's a character named Sandy Cheeks, but this theory takes things a little further. What if there was actually a Bikini Bottom that floated down to the seabed, and stuck to that skimpy swimwear was an absorbent feminine hygiene product, a tampon? Spongebob Squarepants. That's what this theory suggests, and yes, once again, the internet was a mistake. But fortunately, it gets worse. A condition known as toxic shock syndrome caused by leaving a tampon in for too long may give rise to populations of planktonic bacteria. Yep, you heard that correctly. Sorry, Plankton. This whole theory is a rabbit hole that just gets deeper and deeper the more you read about it.
That's a bit much.
Well, what would be the natural companion to a tampon? And what animal normally says meow? Right. And what's another name for that animal? Bingo. You'll never hear the words Krusty Krab the same way again. Ugh. Mr. Krabs is a cannibal. While Plankton has never succeeded in getting his hands on the Krabby Patty's secret formula, the internet seems to think they've worked it out. There isn't exactly a steady supply of cattle on the seabed, so it stands to reason the patties must be coming from some form of seafood. Take a look at the menu. Kelp rings, kelp shake, seafoam soda, coral bits, Krabby Patty. It's been hiding in plain sight the whole time.
Oh my God.
Krabby Patties use real crab meat. The evidence behind this one stacks up when you realize Mr. Krabs and his mom are the only crabs in town. On top of that, the Krusty Krab is literally shaped like a crab trap, complete with the netting on the sides. Sure, it could just be a cute idea from the show's animators to use a crab-related structure as the basis for Mr. Krabs' business. But ask yourselves this. Would Mr. Krabs sell the meat of his own kind to make money? Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about a character who sold his own soul repeatedly. Let's face it, with Mr. Krabs, if it pays, it plays. Not to mention his reaction to eating a Krabby Patty.
So that's what I taste like.
Yeah, I'll just take a kelp shake to go. Thanks. Mr. Krabs makes Krabby Patties out of whales. Convinced that Mr.
Hang on. What? First of all, what? What? Solid grain is people. If no one gets that reference, don't worry about it. Still.
Soylent Green is made out of people. Soylent Green is people!
Oh my God. He's a monster. But there must be crabs somewhere because he continuously selling them. Unless there's like a giant crab. Like, or it could be, have you all ever seen that? There was like a drawn comic where Patrick becomes this huge, like, Cthulhu-like thing destroying Bikini Bottom because basically a long time ago a part of Patrick's body was something came off and starfish regrow limbs from or regrow whole bodies from limbs, and Crab basically took a Patrick that regrew and then started harvesting him for meat, and that's what he's selling them. And then Patrick one time bit into like an undercooked crab patty, and in the memories of the Patrick that was down, and just started. There's a whole crazy comic about Patrick becomes this Cthulhu-like monster destroying everything, and then everyone is fighting Patrick. It is horrifying, to say the least. This is, I mean, wow. And what was this next one? It was like Krabby Patties are made of whales now?
To eating a Krabby Patty.
So that's what I taste like.
Yeah, I'll just take a kelp shake to go. Thanks. Mr. Krabs
Makes Krabby Patties out of whales. What could this be? Could it be that he killed Pearl's parents and adopted her? That
makes Krabby Patties out of whales. Convinced that Mr. Krabs is a cannibal? Plausible as it seems, there's one or two things against it. For starters, Nickelodeon categorically denied it on Instagram. But come on, they could easily be working for the Krusty Krab PR machine. Assuming they are telling the truth. What if the real secret behind the Krabby Patty is even darker? Reddit user Walla Walla Rhubarb theorizes an alternative backstory for Mr. Krabs' adopted daughter, Pearl. Specifically, that he found Pearl close to the newly deceased carcass of her mother, and he's been using the meat to make Krabby Patties ever since. Furthermore, the only reason he's keeping Pearl around is to fatten her up for when her mother's meat finally runs out. Again, we're talking about a guy who, according to the Spongebob Wiki, is guilty of at least 27 different crimes, including attempted murder, grave robbery, cruelty to animals, and manslaughter. He even openly admits to not liking mammals.
Mammals.
So why would he choose to adopt a whale? In nature, when a whale carcass falls to the bottom of the ocean, a feeding frenzy breaks out with all manner of creatures, taking their turn to suck and gnaw whatever nutrition they can from the fallen beast. What would be more natural for a ruthless entrepreneur like Eugene Harold Krabs than to monetize and profit from the opportunity? Whatever the real truth is behind the Krabby Patty, Mr. Krabs is such a dark character we can't help but think there's something sinister at work. And finally, yes, it's come to this, Squidward's penis is on his face. Squidward's penis is on his face. Now you've seen it. You can never unsee it. Although we already mentioned the theory about characters relating to private parts, this one really stands up on its own, yeah.
I knew you were supposed to have a big one, but that thing's gigantic.
Weirdly enough, the weirdo meter is definitely working now. The theory actually has some legs, specifically Squidward's legs. Notice how while some characters such as Patrick skip wearing a shirt, Squidward is the only one who doesn't wear pants. Also, turns out that squids' penises are located near to their beaks. Then again, where else is it going to be? On the end of a tentacle? Hanging off one of those, squid flaps? Are they wings? Huge shout out to Reddit user Heron's Son for this theory. Groundbreaking stuff. We hope you get the help you need. And those are our favorite dark Spongebob Squarepants theories. Did we miss any? Have you got your own messed up theory? Share it with everybody in the comments section below. Please remember to like this video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Okay, well. The 7 deadly sins things I could see instantly, understood. Next things, it took like a second, but I could see it once they started showing a bunch of the scenes, and it's just, oh my god, Mr. Krabs. I don't know why I'm surprised. I shouldn't be, because it makes entirely too much sense, whether he is a cannibal or it's whale meat. Oh my god. Well, that's enough of that. If you enjoyed this, leave a like. Want to see more? Subscribe. If you have an idea of a video I should see, maybe something else, want to try to ruin my childhood, or awesome music video that maybe not a lot of people have seen. Music video. I think I said, I realized I had a little, it's whatever. Leave it in a comment, or just comment what do you think about this video, or anything. Say hi or something, whatever. That's it for this video, and I'll see y'all next time.